So we're slowly starting to fill up a little bit here. People starting to come in. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. I'm on my Strat here. And I'm just trying out the UAD Paradise Suite. So at the moment, this EQ is on, but it's literally doing nothing. It's very transparent, but I wanted to sort of share with you a little conundrum that I've kind of stumbled on. So just wait and see if a few more people come in, and then we'll go from there. But basically, I think this plugin is absolutely incredible, and I'm wondering how I can gig it. There's just so many sounds here, and to be honest, it sounds out of the box like I've dreamt that the HX Stomp or Helix would sound. And there's, we're only on the letter D, and I've been scrolling loads. So if we go, let's go Edge of Breakup single coil. So this is one of the 4 Dumbles that we have. Interestingly, set like Bonomassa's ODS. Ryan, that's really cool that you've ordered that Veilton. Honestly, I think it's the way to go. There's so many gigs that I do nowadays that are just going direct, and whether you're playing at home or doing a gig, it's just an easier way to know what your sound is. And then if you're giving that to a sound guy, it's harder for them to screw it up than if they place a mic on the wrong place, in the wrong part of the speaker. Just because they like it, it might not necessarily be what you're after. But yeah, that's really cool that you've got that. Let me know how you get on with it. That's a lot higher gain than I'd use for Edge of Breakup. Edge of Breakup for me is probably more around here. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's more Edge of Breakup for me, but even that's quite sort of high gain, really. So let's see if we can get that more where I'd use it. The boost's off. I don't think we got the HRM in. No, we haven't. But again, it's just so much more right where I'd want it to be, just from plugging in, rather than fiddling around for ages on the HX Stomp. And I've done a lot of that, as anyone who's seen the videos on the channel will be aware of that. And this Enigmatic, it just sounds like I want the Dumble to sound. Well, you can hit a chord and there's still the clarity of all the notes. But it's also nice and big for the riffy sound. It's kind of like Fendery, but with the chunk of a Marshall, which I guess is sort of a Dumble in a way, isn't it? And that's just rolling the guitar volume back a little bit. So you are hearing, Ryan, the UA, this plugin here, you're hearing literally my computer audio straight into YouTube, or you should be, unless I've done something really drastically wrong. And I'm just exploring this plugin. So this is a universal audio plugin that I tried, and it sort of scared me a little bit because it's so much better than what I've been using for gigs. So we've got all these different dumbles, 4 different dumbles, and then you've got a Fender Deluxe Reverb, a Vox AC30, Fender Dual Showman kind of thing, the Dumble, the Lion, which is a Marshall, and the Woodrow, which is a Tweed. So it's basically just the latest and greatest from UA, I think. But yeah, I'm just trying some of the presets and trying to think, is it worth tearing apart my gigging setup? So yeah, let's try something else. Let's have a look at let's see what reverby things they have. So ambient travels. Oh, direct. Not even a speaker cab. Wow, did not expect that. How does that sound with a speaker cab on it? Where's the greenback? Okay. I've got to be honest, that's the first sound that I've tried on this where I'm not thinking it would be useful in a gig. I'm sure it's useful somewhere for someone being creative with a song, but I'm struggling to think of that. Let's go for another reverby one. Let's try a wide one. Jangly ambience. This is something that I've maybe struggled a little bit with when doing the Helix stuff. So what we've got here is a AC30 with a 2x12 Alnico Blue, I guess. Yeah, so again, it's kind of nailing the same problem for me. It's I've always struggled with dialing in Vox circuits to suit for me, but if you're after the Vox sound, that seems to be exactly what I'd be looking for. Spacey pitch drip Perry DI. What's this? I started off not liking it, but by the end I sort of thought, oh, I might be able to use that in something. Let's see what it does with like a single note. Cool. So that actually made something happen that I maybe wouldn't have played otherwise, which is honestly another reason that I'm really liking this plugin so far. There's nothing worse than sort of knowing the gear so well that you just go to your usual sounds and then you're sort of like, oh, well, I know I'm going to play the usual dad rock, dad blues stuff over everything, which is fine, which is great. And I love that sort of thing. But if that's all you play, it can get a bit monotonous, I guess. Thick Studio Strat. Now, is this a clean tone? No, it's not a clean tone. There's a lot of gain here by the looks of it. Cool, so that's a fairly standard Dumbly drive sound, isn't it? Unforgettable modulated delays. What's this? Oh, that's cool. The delay does the swing. Just going to turn the mix down a tiny bit. I can't really see that. Oh, I see. So if you press link, it just sets them to the same time, so you don't get the whole moving across thing. Ah, that's cool. You can do the Halo type Andy Timmons thing. Rico, this is exactly my problem. So I really love the sounds of this, but it's so DSP intensive, compared to something like what I was using before, using Helix Native. But it's just not as good. The UAD thing seems so much more inspiring to make you play different sorts of things. But I guess I'm trying to find ways to use this live because I actually really love the sounds. I haven't tried the pedals yet. The pedals quite different, Rico, because obviously you've got the amps based on the same sorts of things. Are those the pedals you're talking about, or do you mean the amps? Sorry, the delays and things. The UA pedals or just normal pedals? Right. Because this bright and clean thing, that actually really surprised me how different it is from the Helix one. So if I dialed in the Helix Plexi to be like this, I'll just show you. We're on the super lead with the bright cap and the ghost note. So it's basically like the stock Plexi, just into a greenback 30 cab. That wouldn't exist in the Helix world. That sound doesn't exist. And I've tried every which way to sort of cheat it to being there. It's either too thin or a bit too spiky on the top end, and this just seems to sound right. So the pedals in the Paradise Suite, yeah, is that really what you're buying it for if you're using that? Because if you like, let's just stick a tube screamer in front of this. So to me that sounds like a tube screamer, and obviously every tube screamer is different, but the amps for me are the really sort of stand out bit. You know, if I let's say do the typical Stevie Ray thing, something like that. Oh, do you think? I actually really like the cabs because they're a lot darker, while still being quite clear. You get a lot more bottom end to them. So what cabs do you use on there? Cause say for example, like this Dumble. There's the Dumble and the Helix, and there's just so much bottom end. Whereas if I turn this on to, something, let's go. Let's try the Brute OD. So this is with the EVs. It's so interesting you say that, because for this, the bass on the Grammatico on the Helix Native, even with the bass quite low, it's still way too much bass, whereas this just feels a bit more real as to how I'd expect it to sound. So it's just more useful, I think, from a gigging point of view. The only problem is I want all the sounds, which is why the Helix is handy. But yeah, Bassemans are great. Guitar or bass, I love a Bassman. I'm just going to try the Bonamassa thing here. Okay, let's see what this is. Slightly out of tune by the end there, but yeah, that actually sounds pretty cool. It's a lot more kind of mid-focused than some of the other ones. Let's see if there's any perceptible difference between these two models. It's a bit thicker in the bottom end. Yeah, I will try that preset after, Rico. Just let me indulge myself for a second. So let's try the tape echo. Apologies for the tune in there. But when you think about how many people have done the Dumble kind of thing, it's kind of surprising that this is one of the only ones I've heard where it sounds like you'd expect it to. Like the Grammatico GSG, I've tried really hard to like it, and it just doesn't do the thing as far as I'm aware. Let's try this Revolution tone. Revolutionary Direct Fuzz. Is that the one? That could be really cool in a track. I probably wouldn't use it live. But yeah, no, I like that. It's cool. It's just the right amount of reverb as well to stop it feeling dry. But if we go to just quickly, I wanna show anyone who's wondering why I've come to this problem. So let's go to the Eric Johnson thing, which obviously is important to me. Now, if I start playing this... Oh, Ryan, this is literally... You can use this in any recording software. So I'm using this in Logic. You just need an audio interface and a way to get into your computer from your guitar. And then this plugin, you can get it on a subscription thing. Or I think they do a 14-day free trial, which is how I tried it. But yeah, so there's all these sounds, and it just takes a lot of the guesswork out. I can link you to it if you want. So yeah, this is really important to me, this sound, because obviously I'm a massive Eric Johnson fan. So let's try this. Now, I don't know whether the stream will let you see this, but I'm going to copy the exact settings. So we've got presence on 4.17. And we're going to use Helix Native to try and match that now. So we're going to use Helix Native to try and match that. And for this, I'm going to use the Brit Plexi Jump, because we're using both Inputs. We're going to go for what the... We're going to make it even fairer, and we're going to try the plexi jump with volume 2 on... So the presence on 4.2. Volume 1 on 8.7. That's the bright channel. And I think volume 2 on 8.4, let's say. Bass will be on 2.25, or we'll go 2.3. Mid all the way up. Treble on 6.5. And presence we've already done. So I'll probably have to match the volumes of these, but we're basically going into the same cab. Now to really illustrate the point, I'm going to use the 160, which is this microphone here. And we'll start on the cap edge, and we'll maybe pull it back 3 inches. And I'm even going to pull the high cut down to 6 kilohertz. Now, from memory, I think it's quite bright. So this is the UAD version of this sound. Now let's hear the Helix version of the same sound. Back to the UAD. It's closer than I remember, to be honest. But let's try adding a room reverb with about 40% of the mix. There, you can kind of hear it sounds quite muddy. It's louder now. There we go. The Helix there is really starting to sort of show itself as just a bit weaker. Like the bottom end isn't holding together in the same way. Let's try this. It's less fun to play under the fingers. So that's the Helix. The UA. Just sounds more the way I'd want it to, straight out. And that's using the darker of the two mics, so we're using the Ribbon 160. UA, and here's the Helix. Just doesn't have that same chunk to it. And I don't even think it's because it's a lead versus a bass version. So now we've got the same settings, but with the super lead version of it. you can hear the gate there. Swapping over to the Helix. Let's just do that. It's crispier, clearer, softer. It's weird. It's just more of everything that's the right sort of sound with it. And so now I've got this conundrum of how do I go from having a minimal pedal board with an HX stomp and a MIDI controller to gigging this. So Lo-Fi Music Addict, you mean the Line 6 plugin compared to actual pedals? It's it's as close as they can get it, I think. So I remember I had the Wampler Tumnus, and I A-B'd it against the Minotaur, which is obviously the clone thing. And I had to set the controls slightly differently. The Tumnus had more output level, so this was really kind of gunned all the way up, really, sort of around 8 or 9. But it was pretty close tonally. There wasn't much in it. The Timmy's good. The Air Apparent's good. The Tone Sovereign's good. They definitely do fall into that category of a very, very good model of it. I think where I'm starting to realise the difference is for the UA stuff is the amps and cabs are better. So maybe I go to a rig where I maybe have the Lion as like my main amp pedal, because I use mainly Marshall-based sounds anyway. So I might have something like the Bright and Clean. So this might actually work quite nicely for a sort of do it all clean sound. And I quite like the consistency of always using the same cab there. And then obviously you can add the effects. But if I just humour myself here and turn the effects off, what happens if I put a Helix native afterwards? Let's get rid of the blocks. And so this is after the Lion plugin. So if I go to my usual settings for this, so this is the back end of my gigging preset for a lot of my Helix stuff. So maybe if I work with this, then I don't have to completely lose all my current workflow. Maybe a little more reverb just for a bit of fun. Oh yeah, it's so much better than Guitar Rig. Even the Helix native stuff is an upgrade on Guitar Rig, but the Helix native stuff's now a decade old. But I really like this as a sound, the Bright and Clean thing. Let's see how it takes compressors. Dynamics, compressor. Maybe need needs a bit less compression because it's already kind of baked into the amp. There, I'm starting to feel it. Yeah, with those guitar rig presets, I think quite a lot of the time they're built to sell the capabilities of the unit. So, sorry, the software. So if you look at some of the presets in this, there was one that I tried. I actually quite like this sound, so I might remember. So I remember that. There was a preset in this, which was quite experimental. Let's see if I can remember what it was called. Jangly ambience, I think. No, that's too normal. Let's turn Helix Native off. But then you have so many things going on here, like loaded DI soundscape thing. This will be. You can see how many things are going across the top here. So we've got a compressor into a pitch shift delay, into a digital delay, into a pitch shifter, into a reverb, into an amp with a 212 JBL style cabinet, into a pitch shift delay, into a reverb, into a flanger doubler, into an EQ, into a compressor. Let's see how this sounds. So yeah, that's an example of something that I think is more being made to sell the unit rather than to, you're not necessarily going to write an entire album with that sound. British stack. Let's see what that sounds like. So is this a high gain British stack? Yeah, for all the budget shoegazers. Okay, that's maybe a bit bright for me, but I imagine it's probably supposed to be used with humbuckets. What about big, clean, bright? Now this might be the sort of thing I'm interested in. Screen gaze. Excellent. We've come up with a new genre of music. Actually, we probably haven't. There's probably already a screen gaze band. But yeah, I like that clean tone. Let's have a look at some more things. Big hair feels good. I think I know what this is going to be based on. Yeah, that's quite cool. The thing I really don't like is the hashy thing. So that's more than likely this high frequency here, and maybe even the micro pitch shifter as well. It's definitely better. I'd probably go for a different cab as well. The thing I always come back to is either the stripped on axis with a 412 ribbon 160 and a 57 on some greenbacks, or the 65 heritage ones. You lose that really fierce top end. That's what it was. can just play that play that sound for longer if it's not got that really harsh sort of top end thing. Sometimes, people say you need that to cut through, but I'm not so sure. Blooming solo. Don't give that guitarist another blooming solo. Let's see what this is. Let's change guitar. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. It's you don't want to be complaining about your own sound after 10 minutes of playing guitar. Complain about someone else's sound. Bridge rock. Yeah, see, it's kind of coming back in that sound a bit, the harshness, which I guess is what V30s are known for. But if we change it to, let's go to a 112 with a greenback 25, this might be a bit better. Yeah, a bit boxy that. Nearly played an AC/DC riff there. Let's have a look. Greenback 25. Oh, that's an interesting point, actually. Does it sound noticeably different? Yeah, see, this is the difference a mic can make. So it's a SM57 or a Ribbon 160. Same speaker, but different cab. And I think the main difference is the mic here. So this is maybe a little bit... So that's the beginning of one of my songs. And I always want it to have that sort of authoritative low end without being too fizzy on the top end. And that cab does more of it, but I just keep coming back to this one with the 160 and the 57 mixed together. And you can sort of just fix most sounds. So let's go for an EP3 boost. Put on about 4. This is another interesting point, actually. So with the Deluxe, the Tweed Deluxe, if you turn it all the way up on here, it should start to sort of fart out. Let's turn the boost all the way up, just to. So it's too overdone, really. Sounds like a dying fuzz pedal. So it's with where the battery's kind of running out. But the Helix one starts to do that when it's on 4. I will make a note of if I stumble on a washing machine style preset. But I think we might be waiting a while till there's a need for that. Let me just have a look at the higher gain stuff, because Ryan's just asked for that. Let's go Humbucker 412. I'm going to switch to the SG. That's not really what I was expecting for a humbucker 412. Let's go aggressive. So you'd assume because there's a vintage label that there'd be a modern thing. Again, look what the cab is. It's the best cab on this whole thing. What's that weird pitch shifting thing? So I don't know whether you can hear this on YouTube because it's quite subtle, but if you have a look at this, the micro pitch shifter. I imagine if you have the mix on full, you get this effect where it's sort of lopsided. Yeah, I think you're right, Ryan. It's I get what they're going for, the chorus thing here. It just might have been slightly overdone. Just going to take this EQ out as well, because I don't generally like a scoop. Just going to take the reverb down even more. And I wonder if we can tighten this with a tube screamer. Oh, that's kind of already doing that job. How do I undo that? That's a point. Why do they not have an undo button? There's the output. Right. So let's do the same changes. Yeah, I way prefer it with that EQ off. Gainy sound like that in a long time. Right. We'll have a look at a couple more and then we'll leave it there. But it's been interesting to explore this for an hour with you guys. Bassman 410 clean. Yeah, I like that with the indicators, because it tells you when the gate's actually working. So, if I do this, does the... Okay, so that's the gate on, and that's the threshold as to where it kicks. Yeah, I like that. That's a really nice feature. Why other plugins haven't done that, I don't know. But the output balancing is nice. Let's try something else. Blues Breaker Combo. Is this maybe a bit more Clapton-y? Must be. did actually hear that. What have I done? That's something I don't like. You can accidentally change the cab. That it was the normal channel with everything all the way up. And who knows, maybe you used a treble booster. Yeah, I like that. That can stay. That's a sound I'd use. Maybe let's give it a bit more reverb. Yeah, really like that. And then I wonder if they have a treble booster. No, but we could use a clone. Let's try this. So we do output high. So it doesn't do everything, but I do really like that sound. I'm hoping somewhere I stumble on something that's literally exactly what I'm after. Let's do bright and chimey. Let's see what this is. I'm guessing that's more for a single coil guitar. Let's have a look. Let's go rock dream. Smooth Drive Deluxe, maybe that's what we're after. Even with the Nashville style Noble's ODR drive, I've never been able to get that to sound the way I want it to, and it just sounds really good without doing anything. But I suppose if you've got James Santiago, there's people that are probably less well equipped to do that job, that's for sure. It's very, very touch sensitive, this whole plugin. And yeah, I love it. You can feel the horrible Nashville traffic through it. To be honest, I used to make it sound like horrible Nashville traffic until I got this plugin. One more, just 'cause I'm feeling like having some more fun. Telly bridge rocking. All right, let's try this. Just gonna grab the telly. How is that driving like that? Where is that gain coming from? So it's an EV. The EQ's just at unity gain. I'm not doing anything stupid, am I? No, it's just this. How is that sounding like that? But yeah, it's definitely telly bridge rocking, isn't it? Crunchy funk. Let's have a look at this. So, no compression. Let's see what this is like. Just really like how it's never got that really harsh top end thing. It cuts, especially for a sound like that. But it does just cut. Dream chord tones. This must it must be something ambient we can finish on. Clean and warm. More mix, decay, and pre-delay. I'm glad. I think you guys liked the Clapton tone, where it was a normal channel with everything gunned. Yeah, I really like that sound. Thanks for the kind comments. Yeah, so this has actually been really fun. I might do a few more of these. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in to humour my sound exploration for the last hour or so. I'll be uploading some more videos soon. But I hope everyone has a good week, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers. See you later.